More money is most people's goal, right? I think we can all agree on that. And one route to getting there is starting your own business, is getting outside the 9 to 5 and attacking things on your own. I've been doing that now for 8 years. I've been in business for 10 or more, but I'm only 29, so I don't count teens. I've been running Murgs since I was 22. So 8 years, and I've been full-time for 2.5. And I've been thinking recently, why? Why do I do this? It's the most stressful thing I've ever done. It's literally going to shorten my lifespan because one of the main determining factors for lifespan is the amount of stress. And I've just been trying to put my finger on why. What's the purpose? Why am I doing this? So I worked in engineering from the age of 17 till 27, 26. And I've had a fine time. It's been all right. I enjoy engineering. I like the manufacturing. I like creating things. And then I decided to leave my job. We were 6 months into having twins, so twin girls in 2022. 6 months in, me and my wife evaluated. We were like, the business that I'd been running in my spare time as a hobby, a side hustle, was doing okay. And we got to a point where it was either, do we roll that dice and jump ship? Or do I stick it out in engineering until it does even better? And we both agreed that life's too short. Just sometimes you got to grab life by the balls and do what you think's best. What's the worst case that happens? I leave my job, I go work for myself. 6 months later, it's not working. Hypothetically, I just go get another job, right? That's kind of it. And so I've just been thinking more and more recently, why? Why do we do this? And when you take a step back, on a deeper level, humans were made to live in caves. That's where we came from. That's where we started. We're not cavemen anymore. And cavemen used to go out and get as many resources and as much food and as much of anything they could find that was of any use and stockpile it. Well, of course you would. Because they don't know what's coming up. They don't have a calendar. They don't have the weather forecast. They don't know if a bear lives in the cave next door until it comes knocking for a cup of sugar. And so it's built into us biologically that we want to accumulate things. It clearly comes from a place of power and control, which boils down to safety. If we feel safe, if we're in control, right? If we can control what happens to us, that's a safety thing. Because at the end of the day, we have a survivalist instinct to be here for as long as possible. And in this day and age, we're not out foraging, right? We're not running around collecting sticks and berries. But at the same time, we are, because we're now foraging for money. That's the difference. And rather it being physical and being outside in the hills, we do it here, sat behind a computer screen or employment or on the phone or even in person. And the more I run this business, the more I'm like, right, things are progressing. But where are they progressing to? Imagine if you started running and you set off running and one day you were running a lamppost and walking a lamppost because you've just started and you decided you want to be a runner. Great. That's really great. I wish I did that. That'd be great. But you need a goal, right? How do you train for an unknown outcome? You can train to just be better, but at the same time, it's not really quantifiable, right? You can't say, oh yeah, well, I'm a better runner now than I was. How? You can run for longer? Do you track that? Do we know? And also, what's the goal? Are you trying to run a marathon? Are you trying to... My mum does ultra running. I know, she's bonkers. She did one called the Lakeland 100. It's 105 miles. It's so far, they consider 5 miles extra to just be a little bit. It's only 5%, we couldn't make a perfect loop. And you just think, oh wow, for me to go and run the 5 miles would be remarkable. But when it comes to business, what's the goal? For me, I've always said, it's for the freedom to enjoy life, to see things, to see more. I'm not the kind of guy that needs a Lamborghini. I don't need a Rolex. No, I've actually got a broken Huawei smartwatch because it tells the time and it's got a torch so I can see my kids in the dark when they've dropped their toys. And that's all I need. But at the same time, I really do like cars. I'm a car enthusiast. I'm a motorbike enthusiast. Do I need a motorbike? No, I've got a car. I'm lucky enough to be in a house with 2 cars. But I'm still working as hard as I can to make more money. And I've identified this in myself over the last, 10, 15 years. The journey is where it's at. The journey is what this is for. It's not the destination at all. It's just not. Because if somebody came today, and like I say, I run a CrossFit and weightlifting brand. If somebody came to me today and they were like, John, I'll give you £1 million, and then you just shut your website down. Just turn it off. I'll give you £1 million. I will buy your business, and we will just delete it from the web. That'd be horrible. I'd be gutted. I'd be really upset at that. That'd be like, all the work for this, for nothing. So I've realised it's not for the money, because it's not. But I don't know why. I'm still figuring this out, but I want to inspire you to do the same. Why? What is attractive about having £1 million in the bank? Is it that it unlocks other things? Is it that you can... the freedom in the sense that you can travel? All of a sudden, you go out to restaurants and you're not looking at them by price. That sounds cool, to go out and to not look at how much a meal is and be like, yeah, I'll pay that. That sounds great. And then there's a few other things, but I'm very aware. I don't know if it's a phenomenon or if it's called a hedonic treadmill. And I think it's very similar to lifestyle creep. When things improve or get better or you earn more, or even in a business, I think a lot of business owners will know this. If you do a month or two at an increased number for sales, you're like, whoa, we are smashing it. And then the next month when that goes back down to normal, it's almost sad. It's like, what am I doing wrong? Why are we shrinking? We're not, it's like disappointment. When in reality, none of us look at it as a temporary gain and then resort to normal. We look at it as a permanent gain, and then you've been demoted. And the hedonic treadmill is just a phenomenon of life. And I think that's part of the mentality that everybody that's got money in media, in the news, in films, in pop culture, in all this, says that money doesn't make you happy. But for some reason, all of us, me included, want to find out for ourselves. And isn't that bizarre? Isn't that bizarre that even though we know that's what happens, that money will not bring happiness, we still chase it more than anything. And the things in life that really do bring us happiness might be spending time with friends and family and going out and doing things and having experiences and seeing things, probably more than owning things. I imagine there's someone out there that when they got their first Lamborghini, they were buzzing. That was amazing. But then after 3 to 6 months, that's just a really inconvenient car. And I'm not talking car enthusiast. If that's your hobby and that's your thing, like it is for me, pretend that's not. But if that's your thing, fine. But there are some people that will buy a Rolex, not because they're a watch enthusiast, not because they like the mechanism inside it and the movement, not because the manufacturing and how well it's made and the precision, the accuracy, because it's a status symbol and it tells others, I'm doing so well, I can afford to spend £10,000 on a piece of jewellery that we all pretend is useful. We don't need to know the time. Everybody's got a phone in their pocket. Where are you that you don't know the time? That's not why people buy a Rolex. It's just not. But it's an aspirational goal. It is an aspirational goal. That's what people literally slave away for. That's what I've seen people finance. Financing a Rolex at £50 a month for however many months is absolutely absurd. But people do it. And I think sometimes it's easier for people to get their wires crossed or to not realise that keeping up with the Joneses or trying to purchase things for the purpose of prestige or to show others how well you're doing. Why? And same again, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. And I don't mean that in a disrespectful, like, you're an idiot if that's you. Honestly, like, we can still be friends, I promise. But when you take a step back and look at the bigger picture of life, why would it matter what your neighbour thought of you in terms of what you've achieved? Surely you would want to be graded on you as a person. Like the other day, I've got a neighbour just down the road, elderly lady, and every time the bins get collected on a Friday, she is out and she takes everybody's bins back in. I think so much more of her. I'm like, wow, you went out of your way. That's incredible. If she pulled up in a Ferrari tomorrow, I'd be like, that's pretty cool. But only because I'm into cars. But then again, I bet it's incredibly inconvenient. I wouldn't think more of her because she has expensive things. I think more of her because of who she is and how she acts and how she behaves. And I think people just get mixed up. You can't make up for being a shitty person with material goods. You can't. People try. A lot of people try. A lot of people's self-worth is wrapped up in their net worth or the things they own or the things they have or the places that they can go. That's why people like exclusivity, because they like to feel like they're unique or they're special because of something they've got that no one else can have. But why don't people feel like that when it comes to their personality? Why is that not aspirational? Why is it not aspirational to be the most friendly person in your place of work, to be the most reliable, the most dependent, the most punctual? Why are people not striving for these goals of things that are much easier to attain? I'll be honest, being pleasant to other people is the easiest thing you can do. You've just got to not be a dick. Everybody on earth knows how to be a good human. In the same way we all know how to lose weight. You've just got to eat less than you burn. That's it. Like, I don't recommend losing weight by only having half a pizza a day, but you will lose weight if all you eat is half a pizza a day. Yes, you will. That's maths. That's science. But yeah, it's a strange world we live in. And I just wanted to inspire you to just have a think. Why? Why do we do things? Because a lot of us are on autopilot, aren't we? We live our lives. We're walking around, we're doing things, we go to the shops, we've just got almost like a CD that's got your defaults on it. And we just accept them as reality and truth. This video started off curious to why and ended on be a better person. We got lost in the weeds, but it's been stuck in my head and I find it to be a really interesting concept. And this is really funny. They're just bringing it back down to earth. I tried scripting this video. I try scripting videos sometimes and I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. Honestly, it's not my cup of tea. I much prefer to just speak. You know, that's why I do the vlog style of videos. Anyways, if you're watching at this point, I really appreciate you. You know, the people that clicked on it for the title and thumbnail, they've gone now. They've gone to the shops. They're gone. But if you're still here, I appreciate you. And you're on my wavelength. We're on the same page and we're on the same team. So keep questioning why. And keep challenging beliefs. Why do we do things? Why do we think that's what we do? Challenge, I find it to be a strange term, but challenge the status quo. I'm not a big fan of the term. It sounds bizarre, but be different. But be better.